You see, there's been a lot of nonsense talk since the whole CM Junk fight went down last week. So much nonsense, right? So much disrespect towards Omega and the Bucks. So much stuff that has nothing to do with the fight. Calling CM Junk a draw, this and that, he was right, blah, blah, blah. But the one nonsense that I was told that really irked me, that really pissed me off. See, when you give me factual, incorrect evidence, you might get blocked by me. I don't like that. I don't like liars. There is a point where you try too hard to be a anti-smart. I hate anti-smarts. I hate smarts and I hate anti-smarts. I think anti-smarts might be the worst because those guys, they hate everything, right? Some dumbass told me, what have the Bucks drawn in terms of professional wrestling? This moron said, what have the Young Bucks drawn? What has Kenny Omega drawn? But what pissed me off was once he said, what have the Young Bucks drawn? Wow, man. You just turned me into a Young Bucks defender, even though I don't want to be a Young Bucks defender. You know what I'm saying? See, when you are an anti-smart, you are trying too hard to be edgy, to say dumb shit for a reaction, just because you hate everything. To say the Bucks are not draws, you are a goddamn liar. That is a statement that's filled with hate, and you are a factual, evident liar. You are too much brainwashed by Jim Cornette. You are a factual liar to say those guys are not draws. Dog, look, if it wasn't for the Young Bucks, I wouldn't be here. This channel wouldn't be a thing. If it wasn't for Omega and Cody Rhodes, this channel wouldn't be a thing. You wouldn't know who the hell I am. Hey, look, that company, they put food in a lot of people's mouths, dog, because they are draws. Now, I don't like the Bucks. I don't like Omega. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say they are not draws. They are draws. If it wasn't for them, there would be no AEW. Who made AEW? Was it Chris Jericho? Was it Daniel Bryan? Was it Dean Ambrose? No, it was Cody, the Bucks, Omega. Those four guys made All Elite Wrestling. It's like, you marks are so spoiled for the past 3 years. You act like AEW was always supposed to be here. Dawg, this company used to be called a t-shirt company. This company used to be just a thought and a fantasy. Look, a couple of years ago, the Bucks, Cody, Omega, they had two options. Either go to the WWF or start their own company. They had the balls to start their own company. You know why? Because all four guys are draws. It's crazy. So many people, they throw around the word draw. Oh, he ain't no draw. She ain't no draw. But you don't know what a draw is, right? I had some dumbass tell me, what has John Cena drawn? I'm like, wow. Of course, I had to block that guy because once again, I don't like lying statements. I don't like factual, incorrect statements just to get a reaction. John Cena has sold out multiple WrestleManias as the headliner. He holds the record as the highest grossing merchandise seller in WWF history. Once again, you don't know what a draw is. Wrestling has been dead for the past, 4 years? So, you can't say, oh, what has Cena the past 4 or 5 years? Bruh, wrestling as a whole hasn't been drawing for the past 4 or 5 years, bruh. In terms of where it was at 15 years ago. So you can't blame John for that. But at the end of the day, he draws when it comes to his movies. Have you seen Suicide Squad? Have you seen Peacemaker? Yeah, he was drawing huge numbers for those shows and movies, so cut that shit out. He is a draw, just not in professional wrestling at this moment because it's dead. Hell, I don't think The Rock can draw some big numbers right now. Nobody cares about professional wrestling. People care about The Rock as an actor, but do people care about if he has one more match? No. They care about Black Adam. They care about the Fast and Furious. They care about his movie. They don't care about whether or not he goes back into the goddamn ring, and he knows that. Hence why he hasn't wrestled in years. I feel like his fans have they don't care whether or not he goes back into a wrestling ring anymore. His fans, him as a wrestler, those are niche fans. He has a bigger fan base. He has a bigger Hollywood fan base over his wrestling fan base at the current moment. But to say the Bucks are not draws, like, wow, man. So are we going to forget when they were in the goddamn Bullet Club? When they were selling out tons of t-shirts? Dog, it's the Bucks' fault and Cody's fault and Kenny Omega's fault why Ring of Honor is dead. Once those guys left for AEW, that was the death. That was the literal death of Ring of Honor. Nobody cared about Ring of Honor after Cody left, after the Bucks left. Look at New Japan, right? Ever since Kenny Omega and the Bucks left that company has never been the same. You know why? Because those guys are draws. Once those guys left, nobody gave a shit about New Japan. Tony Khan, 4 or 5 years ago, he went up to the Bucks, Omega and Cody, and he asked them, "Hey, I want to start a professional wrestling company." And he said he wanted to go into business with those 4 guys. You know why? Because they were the biggest names outside of the WWF. Look, man, just because those guys were not in the WWF, that don't mean they were not draws. The WWF is not the end all be all to recognize whether or not somebody is a goddamn draw. People are buying tickets to watch AEW. People buy $50 pay-per-views to watch AEW. The word All Elite, that came from the brains of the Young Bucks. They trademarked the word elite. So they made AEW. When you think of the word elite, you think about the Young Bucks. When they were at their height, dog, the goddamn audience were saying the elite, the elite. That is their word. That they turned into a professional wrestling company, which makes them draws. Once again, you don't know what a damn draw is. Outside of the WWF, they were the highest grossing merch sellers. Do you remember All In? That was financed by Ring of Honor That was nothing more than a indie pay-per-view. And guess what? They sold it out. It was a sellout based on the Bucks, Omega and Cody, based on their hot names at that time. People were buying tickets to support Cody, Omega, and the Bucks. The Bucks, they were mega over at that time. It's like, I don't get it, man. It's like, look, just because you hate the Bucks right now, do not forget where AEW came from. It was nothing more than an idea. It was nothing more than a fantasy. You have to thank Omega, the Bucks, and Cody Rhodes for AEW for being a goddamn thing. Yes, those guys are draws. It's like people buy tickets to support those three guys. It's like, how the hell you guys gonna say, what have they drawn? What? Dog, think about that dumbass statement. Okay. Would Tony Khan even have the balls to start his own company if he didn't know who the Bucks were, Omega and Cody were, and Rose were? No. Once again, he went into business with those guys because they had a fan base. They had a strong following. Their following was so strong that TNT went into business with all four guys. Not Chris Jericho, those four guys. Once again, let me say that once again, because a lot of you people have horrible comprehension skills. TNT went into business with four professional wrestlers outside of the WWF. Let me come on, man. Those are facts. Dog, if Roman Reigns started his own company, it wouldn't be as big as AEW. Those are facts. I don't think you realize how strong the Elite's fan base were. Once again, I just said the Elite. That's what their group was called. The group was called the Elite. Hence, All Elite Wrestling. You see how stupid you sound to say the Bucks are not draws when they have a company and they named their company All Elite, and it's on TNT, it's on TBS, it's on national television, and they are drawing in 900K, 1 million every week. So why are those 1 million people watching? Because they know who the Young Bucks are. They know who Cody was. They knew who Cody was. They knew who Kenny Omega was. Khan had to have faith in those guys as draws and attractions if TNT signed them to a TV contract. Those guys had big enough names for TNT to sign them to contracts. Once again, like, you don't know what a goddamn draw is, bro. Do you know what a draw is? A draw is, as a professional wrestler, are people buying tickets to watch you, right? Okay, let's say All Out or All In sells out. Okay, who are these people paying to watch? If the idea of the event came from the brains of the Young Bucks and Cody and Kenny Omega, that means people are buying tickets to support all those four guys, which makes them draws. You fucking dumbasses. You don't know what a draw is. I'll keep on saying it. Good Lord, by your logic, Drake ain't no draw. Lil Wayne ain't no damn draw. When people buy tickets, when Drake sells out a arena, that makes him a draw. when the Young Bucks sell out a pay-per-view with those guys on the card that makes them draws, because they help build AEW. It's their company, literally. It's their company. Like, if it wasn't for them, there would be no AEW. That's why it's called All Elite. All Elite came from the Young Bucks. That's their company. It's just they have the backing of a billionaire, but that company is their idea, their name, everything. So cut that shit out, man. You don't know what a draw is. Those guys are draws. Like, you have the balls to start your own company to combat the WWF. That makes you a goddamn draw, right? Dog, it's crazy, right? That was nothing more than a fantasy, a goddamn dream for those guys to start a company to combat the WWF, right? It's not easy. Those guys, look, when it comes to All Elite Wrestling, they are the second biggest company in the whole entire world. And that came from the backs of 4 guys from the Indies, 4 guys from New Japan and Ring of Honor, who built up a strong following. Dog, it's not easy to start your company and be the second competitor to the WWF, right? Ask the NWA, ask Impact, ask Control Your Narrative. It's not easy to start your company and be the second biggest company in the entire world. The Bucks and Omega are so massive, they bury New Japan. Nobody cares about New Japan. Nobody cares about it. When Omega and the Bucks were there, everybody was watching. Not anymore. It's like they are now the goddamn stepchild. New Japan, they are now the goddamn stepchild. Omega and the Bucks, they have sunned New Japan. Nobody gives a damn about that company, and it's their fault. Those are the facts. Ever since those guys left, nobody watches New Japan. Only the hardcore smarks watch it. Nobody cares about it, because they took half their fan base and they followed them to All Elite Wrestling. They stole all the fans from Ring of Honor and they brought them to All Elite Wrestling because they are draws. Every time they put on a show, it sells out. Once again, do I have to bring up All In? A show where people thought CM Junk was gonna show up because it was in Chicago. Those guys, look, All Elite, those guys are draws. Right? Look, I don't like the Elite. But this channel is about facts and evidence, and I'm very, very neutral. I'm very, very objective. I don't tolerate bullshit. To say those guys are not draws, that's bullshit. I wouldn't be making videos about them if they were not draws. I only make videos about pro wrestlers who are actually draws. Right? I wouldn't have the following that I have right now if it wasn't for All Elite Wrestling. I wouldn't be averaging the kind of views that I average every week if it wasn't for All Elite Wrestling. Dog, I average what? I think I average around 50,000 views per week because of All Elite Wrestling. That makes them draws. If I were to talk about Impact Wrestling, nobody would watch me. If I were to talk about New Japan, nobody would watch me. Come on, man. My highest view videos are AEW videos. A company that was nothing more than a thought. A t-shirt company. Wow, I meant to say those guys are not draws. Outside of the WWF, They were the highest grossing merchandise tag team next to the New Day. Those are facts. Google it. Those are facts. Next to the New Day, they were the highest grossing merchandise tag team in the whole entire world, next to the New Day. Ain't that what a draw is? If I buy your merchandise, that makes you a draw. If I buy a ticket to see you, that makes you a draw. Those guys, they sell out shows. That makes you a draw. Come on, man, I'm done.